So without further ado, let's get on with the second half of our program. I'm excited to introduce Richard Aviles with Aviles Translations LLC. So give Richard a great warm welcome.
So before I start, my marketing guy and some other people said that there wasn't going to be that many people. So I just want everybody to smile because they were wrong and I was right. So there we go. I just want to start out with that. All right, now to business. Muy buenos días, señoras y señores. Mi nombre es Ricardo de Aviles.
Sí.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ricardo of Aviles. I am the CEO and owner of Aviles Translations LLC. A little bit about myself. I'm a Spanish interpreter. My main language is Spanish. That's what I specialize in. I'm also an interpreter. And to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm not from the continental U.S. I'm actually from Quebradillas, Puerto Rico. Went to school there my whole life in Arecibo, and then ended up joining the military in 2008. Actually, 10 years ago, a day like today, I was in Iraq serving. So yeah, it's crazy how life takes us to different places. I ended up joining the military, ended up going to Missouri, which is where I was stationed for a while. Went to Iraq for a little bit. And then after that, I decided to go to Korea and live there for a few years while I was in the military. And it was awesome. Then when my time came to come out, I didn't want to really go back home. So I decided, I hung out in Springfield, Missouri a lot. Sure, why not? Let's just go back to Springfield. So here I am. And ever since then, I've been staying here. I'm also a Rotarian, which serves above self. I love helping the community out, and I love connecting people. It's kind of like one of the main reasons why most of our customers always retain us, because if I don't have something, I always try to connect people. So I always love collecting business cards. I'm a big nerd, so excuse me for this. I have a big Pokemon binder that I have all my business cards, and literally when someone calls me, he's like, Richard, do you know someone that takes horses? Give me 1 second. Hey, call this person, tell them I sent you. So I love collecting business cards. I love connecting people. I think it's a big thing that Missouri embodies. So what do? We're interpreter and translators for Spanish. We're also notaries. We do transcriptions for video, for Netflix, for the courts mainly. We also do subtitles, and we do cultural consulting. Pretty much what that is that you call me and I talk in Spanish. You feel weird for a little bit because you just heard me talk in Spanish. And then I tell you what that person said. And then you go, okay, cool, thanks, Richard. And then I get paid. I'm also what's called a freelancer. So I actually do work. I have other individuals with me. And I also have interns. One of our interns right now, Amanda Perryman, she actually just got a job offer with a federal law enforcement agency to start working with them in January as an interpreter and a translator. So she is currently right now in the process of being trained still as my intern, but she's going to have an open contract so she can come with us. We have another intern that has a job offer, but he doesn't know about it yet. So Jordan, if you're listening, you didn't hear this. And we also have other cultures because, as we know, there's many dialects of Spanish. The consulting is just basically to educate people as to the culture, because one of the things that we started running into when we started the business in September of last year was that a lot of individuals don't understand the cultural barriers that are with us. And for me, I've been in the U.S. for 10 years, there's still certain jokes that I don't get, or certain, see everybody's smiling, I know. So for me, it's been a little difficult, so I help educate other individuals on that. We also help plan trips. We just helped somebody plan a trip to Puerto Rico. We helped someone else plan a trip to Mexico. Hey, stay out of these areas. Don't say these words. Don't say these words specifically, because it can be very bad. Most of our clients, as you can see, they include the legal setting. I myself am a legal interpreter. I'm certified by the Department of Defense. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I have 5 years of law enforcement experience, and that's why we pretty much do this. What I specialize is cases that involve children. I work with some federal law enforcement agencies where children are not treated as a child should be. So I'm the guy who sits there and pretty much tells you what is going on with this kid. I've also done some cases with a child advocacy center. I'm not going to get into that because it's a really negative thing and it's a beautiful day and the coffee's hot and good. I work with some courts too, all over the state, which it's mostly involving the children. Some attorneys use me. We have banks and realtors and of course law enforcement agencies. My preferred client is anybody who needs an interpreter. I don't discriminate against anybody. I'm actually trying to get more into the market stuff because all this takes a toll on your psychological well-being. So we're actually trying to expand into the medical and to the marketing field as of a couple months ago. So we've only been in business since September, but I myself have been interpreting professionally since I was 17. I was an FBLA member. Anybody an FBLA member? Anybody? Future Business Leaders of America? First time in a crowd, man. Oh my God. So we actually got to go, oh, she's being shy. There you go.
She raised her hand, but it was like this.
No, don't raise that proud. I actually was able to go to Disney World and stay at the Swan and Dolphin Hotel to interpret for a whole week. And let me tell you, that was awesome. Because if you haven't stayed at the Swan and Dolphin, I think it's $300 to $500 a night. Go stay there. It's awesome. You're not going to forget that experience. Marketing. We actually do really, really good online marketing. 85 or 87% of our business comes from online. We're on Google. We're on Facebook. We actually get, we're also on Thumbtack. If you don't know what Thumbtack is and you're an entrepreneur, I highly suggest you use Thumbtack. We actually just got named Top Pro of 2017. So that was a huge thing for us because now when people come, they don't really look at our prices. They just say Top Pro, Professional, and they see pictures from here and they see pictures from everywhere and they want to utilize us more. Things that we do really good. We have people that always come back to us. We do extremely well on marketing and Thumbtack. We do pretty well with billing. We have a really good community outreach. We always have people in Springfield, Missouri, St. Louis, now Sedalia, hopefully, because I'm impressed. I love Sedalia now. I didn't know that there was so much outdoorsy stuff to do, and I love being outdoors. And Google presence and training. We actually offer a lot of training stuff. I keep that exclusive because it's a lot of stuff that I've gathered over 13 years of interpreting, and I don't want to just give that out right away. But next year we'll be offering more training. And the type of training that I do, a lot of it is military related and law enforcement sensitive because I've dealt with gangs, I've dealt with certain low life individuals in this world. So a lot of that training is law enforcement sensitive. Things that we need to improve. We need to get new clients. One of the biggest issues that I personally have is I'm not a business person. I'm just a guy that speaks Spanish, that loves to sit at home, translate some documents, or loves to go out and eat and talk to clients. One of the biggest issues we have is getting in new clients. I'm not very good at talking to people, or like when people are on the fence, like, well, what can I do to help you? I'm not very good at that. I'm trying, but I'm not very good at that. Community outreach. I like to do more community outreach actually, because we do pro bono work with Freedom's Rest, Great Circle, and other organizations all over the world. We have a church in Spain that we translate their biblical research papers, and we do that for free. And we've actually been online and like on the press over in Spain where they're like, this was translated by, Lorraine Torres Barreto, who's one of my translators from Aviles Translations. So it's like, that's awesome. So we'd like to keep doing that because it's good. Advice on out-of-state contracts. We'd like to start getting state contracts, which is a little difficult. We have partnered up with MSU and they help service disabled minority veteran-owned businesses, which my business is SDVOB, or whatever the acronym is. And to grow our social media presence. I'd like to grow our social media presence on Facebook because it's basically where a lot of people will see us. And lately, from our learning experiences from other 1 Million Cups has been to basically talk about that and basically do like paid marketing. And that's one of the things is this is my 6th 1 Million Cups, I believe, or 7th. And I have 7 more at the end of the year. So I'll be traveling all over. And let me tell you, if you're an entrepreneur, if you know someone that has a business idea, come to 1 Million Cups. Like we've gotten some of the best results coming to all these 1 Million Cups. We've presented in Springfield, Columbia, Sedalia, San Antonio, Frisco, and Arkansas too. We presented in Arkansas. So if you're in doubt of how well 1 Million Cups is, we were on TV a couple months ago. We've been on the radio twice presenting our business. So what 1 Million Cups does for marketing has been amazing for us because it gives you legitimacy and people see a person, not just a computer screen and some dude that probably does it for beer money. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I, feed my dogs because I have 2 wonderful dogs. And this is how I do everything for my life right now. So in order to contact us, oh God, no. In order to contact us, you can go to our website. Don't judge our website. It's under construction right now, ladies and gentlemen. You can go to Facebook. You can find us on Thumbtack. We're also a 24/7 interpreting agency. We sometimes get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning when law enforcement agents need us because the guy doesn't know how to say, give me your driver's license, proof of insurance, and other documents. So I really appreciate your time. I'm not a big talker, so I'm going to open it up for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Questions. Okay, I'll go first again.
Go ahead.
So I don't know that we have any formal translation services here in Pettis County or in our area, do we?
Yeah, well, when I worked for the juvenile court system, just a few years back, they've had people available if we needed them. Gotcha.
So anybody who, according to Title 4 or 3, as of 1965, don't quote me on this, this is on video. I should know this because my staff knows this. Any agency that receives federal funds and or grants has to have professional translation services. What happens a lot of times is that they have someone on the phone who you have no idea what their experience is. And what most agencies do is they just like, oh, you can speak Spanish? Take this test. Oh, you pass the test? You can speak Spanish and you can write Spanish. Good enough. That's not what my agency does. Like, my interns will tell you, I ride them very hard. And I have an intern who has a graduate degree. And in 3 weeks that he's been with us, I think he's learned, according to him, this is not something I say, because I believe there's always someone better than you in life. But in 3 weeks that he's been with us, he's learned a lot more than he has in his 5 to 6 years of experience. And that's nothing to say on the educational system. It's just that this is an ever-growing business. Like, a lot of people think short-term, like, I'm just going to translate some documents. Oh, I made $100. That's beer money for the weekend. No, that's not how this is. Like, this is serious. Like, a lot of our jobs involve child pornography cases, sitting at the CAC center with a doll. Like, it's not easy and it's not fun. It also involves, medical stuff where you have to know the proper terminology, because if you say envenenado instead of embriagado, which is the difference between being poisoned and being drunk, you could misdiagnose someone and then that person has a brain swelling because they're treating their stomach instead of their brain, and then they die. So, like, it's very serious. And that's one of the issues that I have with some of the medical places. Like, oh, you have to be certified. But do you know that the person across that screen is being certified? You're just trusting an agency. Like, no, that's not how things operate. So that's one of the issues we have, is that people just want to use over the phone. And we do over the phone interpreting. Like, I love doing over the phone. Like, right now, as soon as I leave here, I have to hop on the phone until I get to Springfield because I have an appointment with Child Services today. And then I have court at 2:30, So it works for what it is, but it's not a solution for everything. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned you had other languages that you can interpret for. Is there a pretty wide range?
I don't offer other languages.
Oh.
We just concentrate on Spanish. We have other dialects of Spanish. No, it's fine. But I do offer, like, someone over here needed Ukrainian and Russian. Ukrainian and Russian. I know enough interpreters all over the Springfield area that are professionals interpreters that are certified that I'll connect you with them and I'll send business their way. Like, we got a contract with Chase for $37,000 through another agency because we gave them a contract that we couldn't bid on. And then they were like, hey, we have a contract. Do you want it? Like, yeah, I'll take that contract. And we took the contract. That's how I feel should be. Like, everybody should be connected. But I want to specialize in Spanish. Because the problem with adding a bunch of languages is there's no quality control. Like, I can sit here and when my people send me something, I look at it and I go, cool, this is quality control. I know that these are the mistakes. Let's fix on them. I can't do that with Chinese. I can't do that with Portuguese. I can't do that with Italian. I can't do that with Ukraine. I can't do that. So that's why I'm just concentrating on the Spanish aspect, because there's a huge need for it. It's one of the most spoken languages, yeah, but not everybody can do it professionally. Yes, sir.
Is translation subject to objectivity? In other words, if you are a professional translator and such is a professional translator, is it possible to translate things differently?
I'll answer your question, but I'm going to explain something first, because this is a very common question we have. The point of a translator interpreter is to deliver a message. So you can change how it's phrased sometimes, but the message is still the same. So to answer your question, yes and no. Because the message, the source of it should still be the same. Now, because of dialects, that can be an issue. So we specialize on dialects because we have so many people from different regions that one of the things when you fill out a form with me is what is your target audience? For example, my intern, her family runs a wedding catering thing in Springfield, and there's a lot of individuals from Mexico in Springfield. So they wanted to specifically concentrate that market to Mexico, right? So we pretty much, I talked to Victor, I talked to some of my people, we did a flyer, we gave it to Victor because he's from Mexico. He's like straight from Mexico. Like he still says ese every now and then during meetings. Like, yeah, ese, you know, ¿qué pasa, papi? And I'm like, Victor, calm down, tone down the gangster tone. But yeah, that can absolutely happen. It's the same with law enforcement, you know. I've done what are called, I've been in T3s, which are wiretaps, which pretty much when you work with a law enforcement agency and they listen to phone conversations. And a lot of times they have a translator interpreter from every region because you don't know what's going to happen on that line. And a lot of times it's like, oh, Richard, you take this, or, you know, whoever, you take this because this sounds like from your region. Or sometimes you hear certain words and you're trying to figure out what region it's from because it can change. You know, how to say what's up can be said in 5 different ways in Spanish. ¿Qué pasa, papi? ¿Qué pajo? Hey, what's up? Oye, güey. ¿Qué pasa, güey? ¿Cómo estás, güey? You know, how are you? What's up? It's all the same message that they're trying to convey, but they say it in different ways. So to answer your question, yes and no, it just depends. Yes, sir.
You mentioned in one of your bullet points marketing. So I'm thinking as a small business owner, anyone in this room, and they want to reach the Hispanic community in Sedalia or surrounding areas. Do you help businesses do that via Facebook or any interpretation along those lines with marketing?
It's funny you say that. Somebody over here asked me about that earlier today. Yes, we do. We actually do help set up. So like, we actually help set up businesses to where they can do their marketing, but it's more like a consultation type of deal. Like, it can't be a one fixed solution because what happened in Springfield with my intern was that we did one flyer, right? And she did the flyer. That was part of her internship. And now her family's getting customers left and right. So now the intern has to step up and interpret because what's going to happen is now you have a source of income coming in that you're going to need a translator, you're going to need an interpreter, and then you're going to have someone who can do that. So absolutely we do all of that, but it's continuous. Like, it's not just like, I'm going to make a flyer and then you're going to have, you know, Miss Juana from El Salvador, mire señora, yo necesito aquí, necesito 4 cartillas y necesito esto. And you're like, oh, sí. She just said that she needed a diaper if you had one. No, we don't. Okay, bye. You know, like, it gets intense. It gets intense, especially when you're planning parties and stuff like that. Oh, man. I don't know if you ever partied with a Hispanic person, but if not, come hang out with me for a night. Come hang out with me and my other translator. We'll show you how to party. Trust me. I guarantee you that. We'll call it as a free consultation. Just bring scotch. Yes, ma'am.
How many employees do you have?
I don't have employees. I have contractors. Everybody under me is a 1090. I have 2 interns and I have 3 translators and interpreters. And I have 1 in Texas. I have 1 in Puerto Rico. They're both translators. One of them specializes in psychological documents and anything that has to do with a psychological or medical perspective. I have another interpreter in Puerto Rico that she specializes in literature and she specializes in anything that has to do with the church. That's like her thing. And then I specialize in legal and medical because I'm almost done with that certification. And then Victor specializes in marketing. Anything that has to do with marketing, Victor is the one who does it. He does a little bit of legal, but he's very good at marketing, mortgages, and all that stuff.
Are there any specialties that you're still looking for?
As of right now, no. Because we have everything covered from medical to marketing to legal. And then teaching, Amanda, our intern, is going to start running that because she graduates from MSU December. She graduates from MSU. And she's starting to learn like the lingo of it, and then I'm preparing the classes for interpreters to take. That's what we're currently working on.
So you don't have any employees? They're all 1099?
They're all 1099s, yeah.
So what type of, how do I say that? How do you have controls in place for them to subcontract from you and still uphold what your company stands for?
We have an SOP. And it's funny you ask that because we just established this and a lot of people don't know it. Being prior military, I learned a lot about like how the military runs. If you look at the military, it's a business. It's just a business. Everything you do day to day has been scheduled out and there's a procedure or there's a regulation for it. So what we've done is we've created a standard operating procedures. Everything from when something comes to who it goes to how you get paid, to standards of conduct, to procedures, to how to deal with it, to the type of training you got to have, how we treat the interns, how we shouldn't treat the interns, because that's a big one, and how we should deal with employees and everything. And there's a bunch of other stuff, I'm not going to get into it. And the thing is we do that because what happened while I was in Texas was that it was madness because I was presenting and working and I pretty much had very little control because things were coming in and they were going to another interpreter, but there was no flow of it. So now that we have that, my employees, they can subcontract with everybody. Anybody who works for me, there's no retention. Like there's no retention that you have to stay and work for me. I tell my people, like if you can get work with TransPerfect, which is, I think right now is the #1 interpreting agency in the world. They just bought out an interpreting agency in China for, I think $2.7 million or something like that. Absolutely, go work. Just know that if you stay with me, eventually as we continue to grow, the people who have stayed, they will absolutely, get their just desserts. They will be able to be the first on the list. But as far as that, I know when my people can work, what their availability is. I have a guy that he likes to work at night. That's his thing. If you send him something for the last minute, I pay him the expedited fee. I don't keep anything. And then I just give him the work because I know that he's going to do good work and I barely have to check it. So that's how we've been able to maintain control of things is we have a standard operating procedure for the company. Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you for your service, man. I really appreciate
Oh,
that.
thanks, man.
Have you noticed that like artificial intelligence or voice recognition software begin to impact your business?
I love that question. So here's the thing. Artificial intelligence can communicate a message. Like if I say, where's the bathroom? ¿Dónde está el baño? Okay? That's awesome. It can't communicate context. And from last time I read from the ATA, it's still like 20 years where it will not be able to communicate a message. Okay? So for me, it's like Google Translate, for example. I tell my guys, like, use Google Translate for what it's worth. Like if I don't know a word, there's times that I don't know a word, like, man, how do I say this word? Like, crap. I'll look up the meaning of the word in English because I want to know and how to use it. And then on that, I'll look up what Google gives me. And then I'll go to my dictionary and I'll go, okay, what are the synonyms? These are the words that I can use? Cool, awesome. But if you put a full page on Google Translate, it's going to give you a extremely messed up translation. And I'll give you actually a case. This happened 2 months ago. There was a county in California who did not want to pay for legal interpreting services. And they pulled over a elderly 37-year-old gentleman that had 1 key of heroin, 3 pounds of weed, I think like a dime of coke or something like that, and he had some ecstasy, right? Well, he used his computer for Google Translate to translate his Miranda rights. They ended up getting sued for $2.7 million, and all the evidence was suppressed because his Mirandas were not understood, And now those people in California are looking for interpreters to come join the force and whatnot, that's the first step that they're going to do. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to look for Spanish-speaking officers. Those Spanish-speaking officers are not going to stay there very long because they're going to realize that they should get paid a lot more. And then they're going to start outsourcing to other companies. That's what I'm waiting for them to start outsourcing. And then I'm going to bid on that contract. And then I'm probably going to go to Cali for 6 months because they can pay for my hotel. But AI is still, I could be wrong. In 10 years, they could. But the thing is, you can't put a price. You can't change a machine into what I do. It's just not possible at this time. And there are some of these translations things that I've seen, and I laugh about it because, I always say if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything. But these translation machines, like they're giving like the paraphrasing of it is incorrect. It's still delivering the message, and for a quick pinch, absolutely. you know? And don't get me wrong, like for a quick pinch, a family member should help, you know? For a quick pinch. Like if someone got shot, if someone got stabbed, something happened, you don't have anybody. Dude, use that family member. But be careful and call the interpreter and have them on the line. Because, you know, one wrong word, man, you misdiagnose that person. They're dead. One wrong word in a deposition, you know, and that person doesn't understand something, you're screwed. Or that person's going to jail. You know, one wrong word in a traffic stop and the person misconstrues something, next thing you know, you're getting shot at, you know, or they're giving you the wrong documents, or they're getting out of the vehicle because they're so nervous they don't understand what's going on. So there's a lot of stuff that AI cannot change. It's extremely difficult for them to do it. Can they eventually? I think so. I absolutely think so. But not right now. And let me tell you, if anyone's ever a customer here, don't send me something on Google Translates, please. My sister did that a couple years ago, and it took me an hour and a half to try to figure out everything because it was all over the place. So I said, just send me the original thing in Spanish. I will translate it. Don't worry, because it gets messy. It gets really messy. Trust me, it's really messy. Whew.
Okay, so Richard, what can we as a community do for you? You've answered that question because you presented that other 1 million cups, but what can we as a community do for you?
Man, just like our page, you know, send me an email, give me your business card. Like I said, I have that binder and there's still about 22 pages left to fill. You know, I sold all my Pokemon cards, guys. Don't make me regret that. But thank you so much for having me. You know, I was supposed to come in September, but in September we'll be in Reno and Vegas. I'm not going to go gamble. I'm going to go to Lake Tahoe. I may gamble. I don't know. We'll see how the night goes. And that's pretty much it. Also, if you know a good place to eat around here, go ahead and recommend me because I'm starving and I got to go to work in 2 hours. So thank you so much for having me, though. I really appreciate it, everybody.